What if the queen of the underworld wasn't born in darkness, but taken there? What if one moment, one choice, or one act of fate changed the rhythm of the world forever? This isn't only a story of gods. It is a story of loss, of descent, and of a return that is never truly complete. Before winter touched the earth, before the seasons turn in endless cycles, there was only growth. Fields of gold, endless harvest, life without interruption. And at the heart of it all stood a mother and her daughter, Demeter and Persephone. One ruled the earth, the other walked upon it. Together they were balance, together they were life. But far below, beyond the reach of sunlight, another god watched, silent, patient, Hades. Hades didn't rule the sky, nor the sea. His kingdom lay beneath, a realm of shadows, of stillness, of echoes that never faded. The underworld was not chaos, it was order, final, unchanging. All souls came to him in time, but Hades himself remained alone. No laughter, no warmth, no living presence, only the quiet weight of eternity. One day, far above the earth, Persephone wandered through a meadow. The air was soft, the light golden. Flowers opened beneath her steps. She gathered them gently, white lilies, violets, and a single narcissus of impossible beauty. It is said that this flower wasn't placed there by chance. It was a lure, a moment arranged by the will of Zeus, because even the king of gods had agreed to what would follow. As Persephone reached for the flower, the earth trembled, the ground split open. From the darkness below, a chariot of black horses surged upward, and with it, Hades. There was no warning, no negotiation. In a single moment he took her, pulled her into the abyss as the earth closed above them. Her voice echoed across the land, a cry that only one being truly heard, her mother. Demeter felt the absence immediately, a silence where life had once been. She searched the earth without rest, across fields, through forests, over mountains. She asked the gods, the rivers, the winds, but no one answered. Days turned to weeks, weeks to months, and grief began to change her. As Demeter wandered, the earth began to suffer. Crops failed, fields turned barren, the green faded from the world. Nothing grew, nothing flourished, because the goddess of life had turned away from her role. She no longer gave, she only surged. Humanity began to feel hunger. The balance of the world began to break. At last, the truth emerged. Persephone hadn't vanished. She had been taken into the underworld, and Zeus had allowed it. The decision had already been made, but Demeter didn't accept it. She refused, and in her refusal, the world stood on the edge of collapse. Below the earth, Persephone sat beside Hades. At first she resisted. The darkness, the silence, the weight of the realm. But time moves differently in the underworld, and something began to change. Hades didn't force cruelty upon her. He ruled, he waited. He offered her a place, a throne, a role, not as a prisoner, but as a queen. And slowly Persephone began to transform. When the gods finally demanded her return, a path was opened. Persephone would leave the underworld. She would go back to the light, back to her mother. But there was one condition, a simple rule, one that bound all who entered that realm. Do not eat, do not take anything from the underworld, because to do so is to belong to it. And yet Persephone had eaten a single fruit, a pomegranate, 6 seeds, small, insignificant, and yet irreversible. A compromise was made. Persephone could return, but not forever. For each seed she had eaten, she would spend part of the year in the underworld, and the rest above the earth with her mother. And so the world changed. When Persephone returns to Demeter, the earth blooms again. Spring rises, life awakens. But when she descends once more into the underworld, Demeter grieves, and the world reflects that grief. The leaves fall, the air grows cold, the land rests. Winter comes, not as punishment, but as a memory. The story of Hades and Persephone is not a simple tale of darkness. It's not only about loss, nor only about love. It's about transformation, about crossing a boundary that cannot be undone, about becoming something new in a place you never choose. Some say Persephone was taken. Others say she became queen by her own will. Some see Hades as a captor. Others as a ruler who offered her a throne. But the pomegranate, was it a trap or a choice? The ancient Greeks didn't tell this story to give answers. They told it to reflect the nature of the world, light and darkness, presence and absence, descent and return. And perhaps to remind us that some journeys change us forever. And even when we return, we are never quite who we were before.